I'm Bo Couchman for the River City Church, and this is Bible Truth for Living. I decided for lunch today to have the number 1, and when I went to the counter and ordered it, the server brought me exactly what I ordered. I would have thought it kind of strange if they had come back with a tray that had a number 1 and a number 2 and a number 3 and a number 4 and had asked me to pay for it. Like you, I would have said, but I didn't order those things. It's interesting that human beings all think the same way with regard to our inductive thought. When we specify something, we understand that the person talking to us wants only what they specify, and they don't have to enumerate all the things that they don't want. Even a small child thinks this way. A 1-year-old who touches a hot surface jerks their finger away, and they will remember that that hurt, and they will inductively reason, if I touch that hot surface, it will hurt. I won't touch it again. They don't have to be taught that way. This is something that we know because of the way that we are made. In Genesis chapter 1, when God created man, God said, let us make man in our image. And one of the ways that we are made in God's image is that we think that way, and so does God. That's important because it makes it easier for God to communicate with us. We reason in the same way. And so when God specifies something that He desires, He doesn't have to tell us all the things that He doesn't want. In fact, we would think it's strange if someone did that. But oddly, in the religious world, people don't think it's strange when God doesn't specify that. And they decide that in their service to God and in their worship and the things that they want to do, they can do anything that God hasn't expressly forbidden. There's a story in the Old Testament in Leviticus chapter 10 of 2 priests in Israel who took that approach, and a very emphatic response from God. In Leviticus 10, beginning with verse 1, the writer records, now Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took their respective fire pans, and after putting fire in them, placed incense on it, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which He had not commanded them. And fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them, and they died before Moses. These 2 priests of Israel offered something to God that God hadn't said anything about. He didn't say not to offer that fire, and perhaps they would have reasoned, but God didn't say not to do that. But God, when He specifies, doesn't have to say not to. In the New Testament, for example, when Jesus instituted the Lord's Supper, He did it with 2 components, bread and wine. There's not too many people today who would say it would be okay to add strawberries and honey to the Lord's Supper, because Jesus didn't include those things. But He didn't say not to either. That's an important thing to understand. When God specifies, He means for us to do exactly what He said, and not take matters into our own hands and do what we would like to do. I'm Bo Couchman. That's Bible Truth for Living.